I want to see Finn and this character drift. How would that work? I would love to see what that would be like on camera.
I mean, Finn would probably have a few issues getting used to that. Jake would be like, oh, come on, man, stop acting like such a prick, man. And Finn would probably, oh, just give me a second. So it'd be a different kind of, two different people.
Yeah. Someone call Abrams. We have to get this going.
Do something. Call SNL. Do something. Just bring them together some way.
You know, I'm a big fan of movie making, and I'm so blown away. I remember talking to Idris and Charlie about the first movie and how they were on these like ellipticals, essentially running. Can you talk about how the technology has changed since the first one? Were you still on these like moving platforms? What does it look like for you?
I think the first thing we based the technology on this, obviously solely on the technology of the first one, but it's been a decade. They would advance these robots to make them more efficient in battle. So one of the things we spoke about was the movement of the pilots inside the conpods and removing those stilts, because the pilots must be like, oh, come on, man, I just want to run.
Right.
And so rather than that, we had a blue screen treadmill.
Cool.
Now, I'd rather those stilts, because at least I have one speed that I can go out with a treadmill. You can speed up and. But it works like a car engine. The speed of the pilots running inside doesn't necessarily dictate the speed of the robot. It just amps up the gears, and then the robot starts to gradually move and move faster. And so we created this idea that the pilots inside will have the ability to be able to do ballet.
That's so cool. Now, obviously, you play Idris's son in the film. Can you talk about, like, I'm always wondering, because you're not in the movie physically with him, do you call him and say, like, you know, I'm wondering, do you have a conversation with him? Because you're playing his son, and obviously you have that connection somehow. Can you call Idris and talk to him about it?
Idris left me a nice message when I got the part, and when he found out that I was producing and congratulated me. And for me, that was nice to get. I mean, it's Stacker himself. But the perfect thing about not consistently speaking to him in regards to this process is that Jake hasn't seen him in a long time either. And comes across as if he doesn't care. So this is a slow discovery of him having to realize that, you know, he does care, and he is his father's son. He has to realize that.
Now, producing is obviously a very interesting thing to be doing, also acting in the movie as well. Del Toro is still on here as a producer as well. Was he heavily involved? Did you speak with him because he directed the first movie? Did you talk to him about that?
At the first stages, he was heavily involved, but then got involved in The Shape of the Water, so he had to leave that. But the great, fantastic thing is we were surprised. We would have notes during filming, especially when it comes to our action sequences and ideas for dialogue, and we would send him stuff, and he'd get back to us, and we're like, aren't you directing something else? And, you know, it's nice to know that he was involved in that way.
Yeah, now obviously I'm a huge fan of how movies are made. I mean, the action scenes are absolutely unbelievable. I'm curious, did you have a specific day on set where you geeked out the most? Was there something that like you came across on set that was like just mind-blowing to look at?
The first time this robot head fired up. This is the exact robot head we actually had on set.
This is the actual one?
Yeah, and these, when they would close that door, like these would spin and then the robot head would start to move, and I was like, oh,
dude.
Ooh, we were all ready.
Dude, that's one of the best trailer songs ever.
I was like, yeah, get it on till I die.
Dude, invite me on set next time, man. I want to come hang out with you guys.
Like sometimes like the head would tilt and you like feel like you're falling out. It's like,
dude.
It's fantastic.
That's awesome. That was always good to see you, buddy. Congratulations. I remember talking to Charlie Hunnam and Idris about the first one, and they were on ellipticals.
Yeah.
Like, did you guys have that for this one as well?
No, well, we had they tried to sort of advance it a little and take it into the future. We were on treadmills, but we weren't like locked in, so we had a little more freedom.
Cool. Yeah. That's all. And there's a really cool shot where like the big monster shows up and they bring this shadow over your face. I know nothing's really there, but like, is there someone just back there like raising a shadow over your face? I wonder how they do that shot. It's so interesting to me.
Remember they did the. Yeah, they probably had they had a lighting gag, I would imagine, that would, you know, do something, and we all just sort of watch it go up. I think we said something, I don't know if it made the cut, but I thought it was pretty funny. We said, well, he's pretty big, and then one of us would say, well, that's what she said.
That part, the line ends on the big line. Yeah. That's what she said would have been perfect.
I know.
Why is that not in the movie? Someone call tonight and tell them.
Someone call tonight.
And there's a great scene, a hard-hitting journalism question here, where you guys are where John's going over his ice cream toppings, and he's like, "Don't mess with my ice cream toppings." What's your go-to? What's your go-to ice cream topping?
I like mochi. The little mochi balls at the frozen yogurt place.
Okay.
Yeah, that and fresh fruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get into that.
Yeah.
That's a good deal. I'm an Oreo cookie guy, but
Oh, you're an Oreo cookie
I'm
guy.
a cookies and cream guy. I don't know why.
I
but
see.
Yeah.
I see.
You know, one thing I love about you as an actor is like you've really kind of created your own path and become this actor. And I loved you in the Fast and Furious film. I loved you in this. I was thinking though, like you and your dad, obviously Dad's an amazing actor as well, amazing filmmaker. What do you think would happen if you and your dad drifted together? Like I feel like that'd be a really cool.
He'd probably tell me to get out of the con pod. Get out. Get off my lawn. Get off my Jaeger.
Get off my Jaeger. That needs to be a meme. Someone make that immediately. What was your first experience ever on a movie set? I know I'm sure you visited your dad at some point, but like,
Yeah.
do you remember this first set you ever stepped on? And I guess the question would be like, now that you step on sets, do you kind of go back to that memory of the first time you ever visited a movie set before?
No, it feels so long ago. It was like 15 years ago, the first time I stepped on a movie set as an actual actor. It feels like a lifetime ago because, you know, within that 15 years, I mean, I've been all over the world, been in, you know, I don't even know, countless movies. And I think I remember maybe as a kid what that felt like, watching my father and thinking, this is a really great way to spend your life telling these stories.
I'm geeking out about that circular shot that's going
Right?
around you that Stephen DeKnight did. It was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I'm curious like what that took to shoot, what it looked like for you. Obviously there's some CG elements happening there,
Right.
but what did you look like on set when you were doing that?
Well, I remember, first of all, it was around 5 in the morning, so the sun was coming up,
Yeah.
and the first AD, Nick, was like, one more shot, the sun's coming on, we've got light, go, go, go. So there was a time crunch there. And then also, the camera was set up on these tracks that did this 360 all around my body.
cool.
And it had to be timed out perfectly where the camera was gonna go in my looks and my reactions to things. And we had about 7 different reaction cues to what I was reacting to.
Oh, wow.
And when we first tried it out, Steven was calling out everything, and then he's like, this time I want you to just find it in your head and just go off the reactions and the beat in your head. So I'm going off these reactions, but it has to be timed out perfectly from the way that the camera's moving. And we got that last shot in, we saw it, and we're like, we love it. It was definitely one of those moments where like, that should be in the trailer, you
Yeah.
know? So
It opened the first
felt,
trailer.
I know, it made me feel really, really cool.
What were the reaction cues? Like would someone say kaiju or would someone say like Jaeger
That's
walking by?
That's kind of what it was. Like explosion, Jaegerfoot crashing near you, drones in the sky, you know. And then I just did that in my own head, and we got it. So, but that was a really fun one.
You know, there's a great scene where John and Scott are talking about like ice cream,
Yeah.
and John literally says, "Don't mess with my ice cream toppings." So, hard-hitting journalism question: What is your go-to ice cream topping?
Ice cream topping. Well, I always go for strawberry ice cream,
Okay.
always, and I usually prefer when the strawberry's actually in there.
The physical
and
fruit.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, exactly. And then always down for some whipped cream. I'll eat that straight. It's
Do you ever
really-
take the bottle and like my dad did that when I was a kid all the time.
Everyone did that.
I'm 33 years old and I do it
Yeah,
all the time.
you have to.
Yeah.
And then some sprinkles. They don't really taste like anything, but they look really fun
They
and
do
happy.
look awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I want to see each of you drift with a character you've played in your filmography. So I was thinking about you and Charlie from It's Always Sunny.
Sure.
no.
How would that drifting go down? Like, what do you think your character?
Were I to drift with Charlie Kelly?
Yeah.
But there's not a lot going on, is there?
No, I mean it's like you would get in there and be like, "Hello, where is he?" And then there would be like a cat with mittens, and and then you'd feel like really high on spray paint for a minute, and you'd be like, "Oh, I think I'm really high." Then you get drunk, you take a nap, and you wake up and you say, "That was cool. I'm gonna do that again."
Someone get Del Toro on the phone. This has to
That's
happen
right.
at Pacific
Pitch it.
Rim 3.
That's right.
And it's that place in Philadelphia. Now, for you and Man in the High Castle, I'd be interested in you and the Marshal drifting. How would that go down?
Yeah, he's a compromised individual. You know, he's some dark secrets in there. So I certainly wouldn't tell you what I saw in there. But,
Yeah.
Lots of toothpicks, I think.
Now, with Del Toro directing the first movie, and now you have a different director here, obviously Stephen DeKnight, I'm curious, do you still talk with Del Toro? Because obviously he's the first one who got you guys into these characters. I'm talking about, like, can you talk about what your conversations were like with him? Could you text him and say, hey, what would this guy do? Or you just rely solely on Stephen?
Well, Guillermo definitely handed the baton to Stephen, and he hit the ground running and took that on. They were very much in touch, weren't they? I think. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I reached out to Guillermo before the movie just to say, look, I know you're not doing it. Should I do it? Do you want me to stay? He's like, yes, please stay a part of the universe.
Yeah.
And but then, you know, after that, I just dealt with Steven because out of respect to Steven.
Yeah. And but has he seen the film? Do you know if Del Toro's actually watched the movie yet? Or I'm curious.
Don't know. He's
been
a bit busy.
Yeah,
he
won something the other day.
He won an Oscar for his performance on Sunny. I think it was.
You were on Sunny at one point,
was,
weren't you?
yeah,
You
it
played
was
like a
Sunny.
scientist on Sunny?
Yeah.
So cool.
Is that how
Great
you guys?
episode.
Oh, I loved
That's one of my
it.
favorite
It was-
episodes. Written by the guys who write Game of Thrones.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's true. That's
Yeah,
not,
yeah,
that's
no,
not
no,
a-
That's
absolutely.
actually the truth?
Actually
Yeah.
true.
The
yeah.
Game
Yeah.
of Thrones writers?
Yeah, they're massive fans of Sunny, weren't
D.B. Weiss and they wanted to do a Sunny episode, so they wrote
That's
that one.
amazing. I had no idea.
Yeah. By the way, Benioff and Weiss, I blanked out of their names for a minute,
Yes, yes.
but it was just pressure.